Hello, this is Lucas, and welcome to this web development series where we will learn how to build a website from scratch. The first step in learning how to build a website will be by learning HTML, which is what this series will demonstrate. Once we finish learning HTML, we can move on to different and more advanced technologies such as CSS, JavaScript, and much more. But for now, let's get started with HTML, which is very essential to know for web development. That's the first question you might have is what is HTML? Well, HTML stands for the Hypertext Markup Language, and it is a standard markup language for creating web pages and web applications. It basically describes the structure of a web page, and it communicates with the browser, and it tells the browser how to display the content. So there are two tools that we need in order to make a website. The first tool is any text editor. So it can be your standard Notepad, it can be Notepad++, it can be VS Code, it can be Atom, it can be any text editor. For this series, we will be using Visual Studio Code. And the second tool that we need is any browser. So it can be Google Chrome, Firefox, I don't know anymore, but it can be any of them. So let's get started. So firstly, we're going to open up any folder that we have created. So I'm going to open up this tutorial HTML, and inside of here we will create ourselves a new file, and the new file that we will create is index.html. The name index doesn't really matter, just the N matters. So .html is the file that we need to create, and the reason why we need to create that file is if you look at if a file ends on .html, it will create this kind of file, and it allows you to open up a web page like this. But you can see that in this web page we currently have none inside. That's because we have no code written. So let's write a bit of code, shall we? So there is a certain structure for creating web pages. So the first one will be doc type. We need this one here. So this is essential for all websites. So all HTML documents must start with this doc type declaration. It is basically just information given to the browser about what type of document type to expect. So this is very essential that we need. The other one after that, which is also essential, is we need to create ourselves a HTML tag like this, and we also need to end it. So you can see this is the start, and then we have the slash here, which tells it this is where the end. So everything inside of here is inside of the HTML, basically. And this represents the root of a HTML document. It is just a container for all elements, except the doc type HTML here. The next one is we need to have ourselves a head, right? So we have ourselves a head like this, and we also need to end it like this. So whenever we want to start, we'll just put the head in these arrows, and then whenever we want to finish, we'll just do a little slash. So everything inside of here is the head. Now, the head is just a container for metadata, which is just data about data, and this is not displayed on the actual page. We can define, for example, the document title, the character set. We can define style sheets for CSS, which we will get into later, scripts, and other meta information. So the next one that we need after this, the head, is the body. Now the body, also you can see we also start it and end it like this. So the body is also a container for all content of a HTML document. So this is everything that is displayed on the page, such as headings, paragraphs like text, links, videos, images, tables, and much more. So everything inside of the body will be displayed on the page. Now, we need one more thing to complete our web page, and that is a title. So in the title, we need to create, or in the head, we need to create ourselves a title. And once again, we have to start it and finish it. Now in here, we can name our title. So I guess we can say our first web page. Now if we save it, and if we go back into here, and if we refresh this, you can see that our header here, the title, has been changed to our first web page. So this is what the title does. The title will show up here. So our first web page. So this is what the title does. There are a couple of other things that we can add in the head. So we will also add in. So we will also add in a language. So we'll do HTML like this, and then we'll do lang is equal to, and then in here we'll do en, and then we'll do it like this again. We do not need this actually. Oh, and so this does not go in the head, but instead of this HTML, we will represent it here. So, and all this does, basically, it just declares the language of a web page, and the main use for this is just to assist search engines and browsers, and it uses ISO code to just specify a language. So for EN, that means English, and if you want to get any other language, you can just Google ISO code, and you'll see all of the languages there. Now, there's one other thing that we need to add in here. We don't need these. So for example, the language here, we don't actually need it. It's not required, but it's just better off to add it in. And then the last thing that we are going to add is we're going to do meta space char set. Then we're going to equal this to UTF, okay, 8, like this. Okay, and then we can close that. Now, all this does is it just specifies to the browser what character encoding to use for this web page. And basically this browser uses this information to properly render the web page. So this is it. This is our web page completed. And if you refresh, exactly, this is our web page done. Join me in the next video where we're actually going to be adding some stuff into the web page. But until then, I'll see you later.